Hey everybody, it's Curse, and today I wanted to bless you with some highlights from my Disciple of Varishta build that I ended up making kind of on the spot yesterday, right before launch, when I saw the Disciple of Varishta Ascendancy tree. Some skills looked really fun, really exciting to me, so I ended up going for it, and I just finished campaign, and it has been a blast. This is a minion build that can nuke multiple screens of enemies. I'll show you a little bit later. It's absolutely ridiculous AoE. And it also has insane single target. The only thing is it's a little bit clunky to execute your DPS. Not awful though. It's totally fine once you get some cast speed. It's not too bad once you get used to it. And also survivability is not the best, just because I haven't spec'd into any survivability notes on the passive tree. But given that I'm not playing hardcore SSF this season, that's not a problem. So I'll show you some campaign highlights first, then I'll go over how the build works, give you details on what I'm speccing into and what I think I will spec into going forward. But I won't go into too much detail because the build can go in many different directions. It will be a mini build guide, and then I'll show you a tier 1 map and what that looks like, so you can see just how awesome the build is. Anyways, let's get into it. Irashaimase! Nice. Oops. Wait, where'd you go? Easy game. They didn't even hit me. Look at that damage! Just look at our damage! As you can see from the campaign boss fight highlights, even I was surprised by the DPS that we were dishing out. And you're gonna have to trust me, the clear is even better. The main source of DPS, especially for clear for this game, is Navira's fracturing. So if you don't know, Disciple of Varishta is a kind of minion class, but it can be also a spellcaster class. And so for minions, it has these genies that you can specialize in certain skills. And that's all you're getting is a skill by speccing into these points. The minions don't fight all the time. They only appear when you command this particular skill, for example. And this skill deals a very impressive amount of DPS. You can see even just here, level 16, 1300 to 2000. That is really high. So this is what my Ascendancy tree looks like. 2 points into the Cold Genie for this insane Navira's fracturing. And then I picked up the physical damage Genie with Kalari's Deception for some single target damage. Because this Kalari's Deception applies critical weakness on hit. Kalari's Brutality together with Kalari's Deception, all of those apply critical weakness, making this to be the single target, not exactly solution, but this is a great single target DPS boost because it also gives critical weakness to Navira's fracturing, so it synergizes extremely well. The requirement for Navira's fracturing to work is it only explodes chilled ground. So you need a steady stream of chilled ground, and the best way to do that is to get Frost Bomb, giving you cold infusions, and then cold infused Ice Nova. As you can see, cold infused Ice Nova, and I have something that keeps expanding the chilled area. It can give you some ridiculous AoE chilled ground. And that chilled ground, when you exploded with Navira's fracturing, the entire area, if there's any enemy standing on top of it, they get damaged. So you can see, we're talking about 2 screens from here all the way over there somewhere. Like roughly 2 screens worth of AoE that is actually incredibly high damage as well. You can see the damage listed here is 80k, and that's without critical weakness buffs, etc. So that's the basic idea: is Frost Bomb, Ice Nova, Navira's Fracture. And then save these 2 for elites and for bosses. I also have Navira's Embrace, which is the default Cold Genie skill, but it's kind of useless. You don't need it. I would drop it. Elemental Weakness for bosses only. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, you just walk, drop Frost Bomb, drop your 2 skills, and everything explodes until you run into elite, and then you spam a few more skills. Anyways, it's pretty straightforward. I'll show you the tier 1 map. Now let's talk about some of the scaling tricks. First of all, the AoE of Navira's Fracturing, like I mentioned, is a function of the chilled ground. So the AoE of the genie itself is irrelevant. So you can put concentrated area, 50% less area of effect. That has absolutely no impact on the AoE of the explosion. It only impacts this chilled ground fracture radius, which is how far away the genie looks for chilled ground to explode. And so if your chilled ground is covering 2 screens, your genie is going to find it. It doesn't matter how much the radius is, it's going to be fine. That's why concentrated area is a perfect fit for the build. Great DPS boost. And then, as I mentioned, your chilled ground AoE is a function of your Ice Nova spell area bonuses. So for example, increased area of effect, that works, that impacts it. I have encroaching ground, 20% increased area of effect per second up to 100. This is kind of nice. It's not a must-have. You can swap this out. But I enjoy seeing that chilled ground keep going and eventually exploding. And then there are a few other ways you can expand it as well. On the passive tree, you can see I've spec'd into AoE expansion here, so the increased area of effect. And the best part is we don't care about 10% reduced spell area damage. We're not doing any spell damage, or at least we don't care about our spell damage. We care about our minions' spell damage. You can also spec into further AoE over here, about 33% there. Do you need it? I honestly don't think so, but it would be even better memes with that kind of AoE. So those are the skill gems that we have for Ice Nova. Pretty straightforward. Some of them you can definitely think about speccing out of. Like increased cast speed. Once you have enough cast speed from items and from the skill tree, you probably don't need this. I put knockback in here. It's probably not very valuable. I was just memeing around and testing it out. Then for Frost Bomb, Overabundance 2 is a must, and then Spell Echo is a must. So these 2 together make it so that you get 2 infused remnants. Harmonic Remnants 2 is also really important. As soon as you get a 3rd socket, I would consider... You can either run Short Fuse or Harmonic Remnants 2. Short Fuse 1 is nowhere as good as Short Fuse 2. So I opted for Harmonic Remnants 2, and then I added Short Fuse 2 once I got 4 sockets. Honestly, Short Fuse 2 makes such a big difference, I'd probably recommend plugging it in as soon as you can. So as soon as you have 3 sockets and a tier 4 support gem, I'd probably opt for Short Fuse 2 over Harmonic Remnants. Even though Harmonic Remnants is really good for this build. But yeah, once you have 4 sockets, these 4 are, I think, best in slot. Then we have just a Curse Elemental Weakness, pretty standard. And then I'm running as many reviving minions as I can, as my spirit allows me. And that is because I'm putting muster into both of these minions. Check out the damage. 81 goes to 51. It's a massive damage boost, given that we're running 6 reviving minions. 6 times 7, so that's 42% more damage. It's better than all of these other gems. Bidding 2 is phenomenal for this build. Perfect for both of these because they only deal damage through command skills. So Doesn't get any better than this. Minion Mastery is a solid choice here because there is no mana cost to these. Usually increased skill level you have to balance out with the mana cost. That's not an issue here. So you just get the 10% or 12, 13% damage increase with Minion Mastery. You can also plug Code Mastery in the 5th slot. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with the 5th slot, but I'm considering Code Mastery. And as soon as you have additional Spirit, I would probably spec for even one additional Minion here. Because as you level these up, they have lower Spirit requirements, and eventually you'll be able to afford an additional Minion there. So that's what I'm running for the two main DPS sources. I'm not sure about Concentrated Area for Kaleri. Kaleri Deception in particular, you want higher AoE. It's not ideal to put Concentrated Area. Kaleri's Brutality, on the other hand, the AoE in which the blades erupt actually goes up and down with this increased area effect. The area of the daggers also goes up and down. So explosion radius, eruption radius, whatever. So that goes up and down. But against a single target enemy, which is what we have this guy for anyways, you probably want smaller AoE, we should say, for Kaleri's Brutality. So it's a bit tricky, given that this one benefits from low AoE and this one from high AoE. I'm trying this out right now, and I'll let you know probably in the next video whether or not I think this is a good fit. But overall, you can see all 4 of these gems are very solid more damage multipliers, which is how we end up scaling the build, because all the utility is coming from other skills, so we don't need to waste slots for utility support gems. For all the minions, you probably just want Meat Shield, Last Gasp. For your clerics, you might want to make them immortal. I think there's a support gem that can do that, but I haven't checked the price of it yet. I suspect it's a little bit pricier. In terms of passive tree, what I want to highlight, I guess, here's another node that scales with the number of persistent minions. This combos really well with muster. Then we have increased AoE, a lot of minion nodes. I've made minions gigantic because, quite honestly, the genies don't care about our reservation efficiency. The only thing that we care about is just getting extra minions for muster when it comes to reservation efficiency. And given that we're always going to be using a scepter, it's not too much of an issue to have reduced reservation efficiency. I am also trying to get 12% increased reservation efficiency up here, so that should smooth things out a bit. But yeah, honestly, there's not too much to think about in the passive tree currently. There's just minion nodes to pick up here, and minion nodes, just minion nodes wherever you can near your starting point. And I have a little bit of energy shield. Now, when you first start off, you're not going to have this pathing. You're going to be going through the spell damage. For leveling purposes, you want to go definitely through this route and then go somewhat of a hybrid spell / minion build early on. I would recommend just find a solid, reliable build guide for Contagion, Essence Drain, and Unearthed, and understand how those 3 work together. And you can level all the way to the Ascendancy, and that's where I would respec to this kind of setup. Maybe not to this right side right away, but eventually, as you get levels, you can do this respec. Somewhere in Act 3 or maybe early Act 4, you want to take this part of the skill tree out. At least that's what I did. Given that our main DPS is Navira's Fracturing, we are running a Elemental Weakness curse, so we try to have a curse on swap. You just have to keep in mind it's very clunky. If you make your genie commands only apply on the first weapon set, when you swap from weapon to weapon, because your weapon has plus minion skills, it's going to reset all the cooldowns, and all these stacks, 2-3 stacks of your spells are going to go down to 0. So what I have done is I have locked my weapon set for both sides, and I've tried to just kind of have an elemental weakness benefiting from the passive tree, but not benefiting from better weapons. So it's a bit of a bummer. Hopefully we figure out a way to mitigate this issue, but otherwise, I don't know. This is going to be the way we do it. When you first get into Navira's Fracturing at your Act 2 Ascendancy, of course you want to go for this first. You want to get all of the cooldown recovery command skills nodes that you can. So these 2 over here, as well as this growing swarm, 20% CDR. Those are highly valuable. Get them as early as you can. In terms of itemization, just look for a scepter with plus minion skills. You can buy +2 minion skills fairly cheap. And make sure it has skeletal warrior minion in the implicit. And then try to get percent increased damage. Mine doesn't have it, sadly. But I'm sure I'm going to get one eventually. And then the usual, try to max your res. Try to max as much energy shield life as possible. Honestly, my itemization is not the greatest. I still have magic, a blue ring. +2 minion in the helmet. You can buy one pretty cheaply nowadays if you can sacrifice not having any resistances. I think I got this for like 1 exalt or something like that. Still running a blue offhand as well. Here's a rough idea of my current stats. I just got into maps. I completed one map. 1300 HP, 1900 ES. Near max some of the res. This one not so much. But I do have open slots. So I could put 2 runes here, 1 rune here, 1 rune here. So I have 4 runes that would really just max this out if I really wanted to. In terms of things that I'm looking forward to, I think the 4th teaching is going to be pretty nice. So this might be my 3rd Ascendancy pickup. And then for my 4th Ascendancy, I'm considering the Time Lost Jewels, but I'm not sure. This one, I think, requires... It's very much an endgame setup, so you don't want to pick this up until 4, so maybe even respec into it later on. I'm not sure that I'm going to get much out of this energy shield conversion or addition to armor. I might test it out. We could also go for more damage. We could spec into the Fire Genie just so we can have all 3 of them. I'm not sure. But definitely for the 3rd Ascendancy, we go for 4th teaching here. In terms of passive tree traversal, getting some minion damage over here. I will probably go for some defensive choices next. So energy shield, some debuff exploration, cooldown recovery. I think this area looks appealing to me right now. And so that's kind of a rough idea of the build specs that I have running. Now let me show you what it looks like to run a tier 1 map. And obviously this is tier 1, so it's not going to be the hardest. But let's check it out. Here's the short fuse. As you can see, it explodes everything very nicely, quickly. So we don't have to wait around. Wait around for like, I don't know, 4 seconds or whatever it is. Was very, very frustrating. So yeah, you can see screen wide clear. You just get in the middle of everything. Cast your frost bombs ahead of you so that you can walk through and just pick up stuff. Or even on elites, just give them exposure. Oh, there's some sort of special enemy here. Where is he? Oh, okay. So I clicked him with Kalari's Brutality there. He just evaporated. A lot of booze. What exactly is exploding there? Okay, cool. We got him. 2 exalts, very nice. Let's keep going. So I play a little bit YOLO, as you can notice. Run in the middle of everything, explode everything. Pretty smooth overall. That enemy survived the hit. Must not have been a crit. Now I'll show you. If I cast Q, let it expand a bit. And then, okay, you can also do this. You can cast your left click. Okay, he actually died. I didn't mean for that to happen. I want to show you that you can, whoops, you can put some critical weakness on them. Look at this. So right now, he's got 3.5 critical weakness. Just to have it a little bit higher chance to crit on the Navira's fracturing. Okay. Oops. Oh, there's another yellow somewhere here. Okay, so yeah, I activate my physical damage nukes when I see an elite. And they seem to just delete them, I don't know. Can't even get to Navira's fracturing on the elites. Navira's fracturing is out clear. And our Phys damage spells, the 2 of them, these 2, Kalari Brutality and the other one, are our single target. And honestly, Navira is great single target as well. Because you can just off-screen stuff. You can go away, 3 screens away, and enemies still get hit. Like that. Pretty sweet. I like strong boxes. Usually they're annoying to do, but with this build, you know, just the entire screen gets deleted, so kind of easy. You don't need to aim at anything, you don't need to worry about too much. So we leveled up, we picked this up. I like to pick up one for plus skills. So I beat them and see what we get. This is gonna be the gameplay. It's a little bit clunky because you have to cast multiple spells. Not a one-button build as we call it. But honestly, I kind of like the combo playstyle. What am I doing here? No, stunning is a problem. You gotta worry about increasing your stun threshold. And being a little bit more careful than I am. Pretty smooth. I want to see a boss. I hope this map has like, oops, has a boss or something. Having all these minions, by the way, is a bit helpful. If you tank up, they distract enemies. Pretty nice. Is this done? Nope. Checkpoint. Oh, there we go. Okay, applying critical weakness. What happened? Oh, stunned it? Okay, the single target from the physical damage is actually insane. I don't think I even need to worry about Navira's fracturing for that. Yeah, I need to increase the crit chance a bit more, so... And everything is done, map is complete. But yeah, eventually I would like to get maybe jewels or some way to increase crit chance. Maybe a little bit of cooldown recovery for minions. Anyway, that's what a tier 1 map here looks like. Hope you enjoyed it. And I hope you enjoyed this build highlight video as well. I'm sorry I've been a little bit MIA. I don't know, I'm not enjoying Last Epoch as much as I used to. But PoE, still a great time. I'm going to push this build to the end game, min-max it a bit more. And I'll share more videos as I make progress. So that if you're looking to try it out yourself, you can learn some of the optimizations. And if you find some optimizations on your end, please do share. Because I'm always looking for additional min-max. Anyways, that's it from me. I hope you all have a fantastic time over the holidays coming up here. Hope you have an opportunity to spend some time with friends, family, play some games. Enjoy life. Take it easy, everybody. ごちそうさまでした。